Hey, this is Mike from Minimal 3DP. Today I'm continuing my development series and I have a new app to introduce that's a filament recommender. So let's go ahead and take a look. This video is brought to you by PCBWay, an awesome prototyping service. I want to thank them for their sponsorship for this video. On my last video, I introduced a tool to help discover the best settings. Before I start showing my newest development, I just wanted to point out that I made some changes here. I did simplify strength to just a general strength and then a compressive strength. I think I had 3 different choices originally for strength, and they were pretty much all telling you the same thing. So I wanted to sort of simplify that. The other thing I've done is add a feedback form if anybody has any feedback. I know one of the bits of feedback I got, and probably I'll have this for the next app I'm going to show, is that I used filament TDS sheets, technical data sheets, from Chinese manufacturers, which aren't known to necessarily be super accurate. I'll mention I use the TDS, but I also use journal articles and other peer-reviewed research to sort of validate some of those TDS. So I've done the best I can. If you have a better source of data, please feel free to submit it. Now, on my newest app, what I've developed is an FDM filament finder. And the goal of this application is, one of the problems I have at least, is trying to remember which filament is best for which scenario. So if I wanted the UV resistant filament, I can check that and then look through my choices. I can also sit here and go down towards the bottom and try to select printability, so I can play around with what's the most printable filaments. Now, right now, nothing's at 10. Let's back this off to maybe an 8. And you'll notice a lot of the easiest filaments to print are PLA, PETG, stuff you would sort of expect. Now, I will point out with PETG, it's known for having some issues with stringing. And also, if you look at this, there's some issues with the fact that it absorbs moisture. The goal, again, of this application is to sort of let you go through and in different ways sort and query for different filaments to find something that helps you for your project. I want to thank PCBWay for sponsoring this video. And I want to take a minute to point out their PCB design service. If you take a look at their website, there's some fairly powerful tools here to let you get an instant quote. You can click on next steps and put in what you need for your project and all the specifications, and then submit. And again, you can get an instant quote. Now, I'll also point out, when you get their help with your PCB design layout, the cost starts at $88.70 US. And that's, again, a pretty good deal. Now, if you'd like some more information, you can take a look at the website. They also have a post up on Instagram that mentions a small discount. I hope you found that helpful. And again, thank you to PCBWay for sponsoring the Minimal 3DP channel. One of the other things I've done here is made some presets. So let me go up and show you where I can sit here and select different types of nozzles. So some of these are more abrasive or need high temperature, so you can't use a brass nozzle. So again, we can go through and use the various settings to find the best filament. Click on flexibles, And there's some different TPUs here. Click on engineering. Here are the filaments that are considered engineering grade. Now you can also compare and contrast filaments. So let me just show you that feature, and that'll be the last thing I show you. So let me select reset here, and I'm going to do UV, and let me select ASA, PC, PEEK, and PEC, and I'm not even sure what some of these are. And you'll notice again, the printability of these is really low. And I can go down here, hit compare, and then just compare these different filaments and take a look at, like I said, the strength, the heat compatibility, the cost score, UV resistance. Again, hopefully this gives everybody the opportunity to go through and look at different filaments and try some different things. Now, as I mentioned previously, I developed this by looking at various TDS records, the technical data sheets, and then I also went through and used journal articles. Now, I did use AI to help extract a lot of the data. So if you notice an issue or have a question or there's something you'd like to see right now, I have 40 plus materials, and I'm hoping in the near future to add additional materials as I discover stuff and as I find more information. Now, one of my other goals, and let me click on this, is to add some more information about the mechanical properties. I want to go over and just, I don't have a button for it, but one of the things I do have is if something can be annealed, which is the process of heating it and basically making the material stronger. It's a processing thing. And you can go in here and look at that. And then I have a couple different articles and references for you to look at to sort of gather some additional information. So hopefully you found this helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below. I'd like to thank PCBWay for sponsoring this video. It's very helpful. If you, again, have any questions or comments, please post them below. I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks. Have a good day.